that real kind of conversation. So let me ask before we say a word of prayer, how are you all doing?
I'm doing well.
I'm doing good.
I'm good. Excited to be here for some good conversation.
That's right.
Yes. Yes. And I'm going to ask you, one of you gentlemen open us up with a word of prayer. We have people those who text, thank you for texting, checking to see what was going on. We're here now. Share it. Let somebody know whether you're single, married, or whatever the case is. You want to hear this talk tonight. We're doing all men's panel tonight. Next week, we're picking up with the ladies. So we want to get from a man's perspective about relationships on tonight. Reverend Preston, would you, Preston, let me tell you your name. I know a Pastor Wesley Bridges. So
I know Pastor Bridges.
Brother Christopher Preston. So I just get you all messed up all the time. Not because I don't know.
I know.
But would you open with a prayer?
Absolutely, absolutely. Let us pray. Dear most kind and gracious God, Lord, we come tonight in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. God, we come just thanking you, God, for life, God. Thank you for health and strength and for keeping us, God. We're in some turbulent times. We're in the midst of a pandemic, but God, you're still good and you're still gracious. And so, God, we thank you tonight for the opportunity to come together, God, to just discuss relationships. God, you built us, you designed us, God, to have community and communion with others. And so, God, I pray that something would be shared tonight, God, that would bless someone, that would encourage someone, and that would strengthen someone, not just in their relationships, God, but even in their walk with you, God. God, we thank you in advance for what you're going to do, and we invite you into this time of sharing, God, and let your will be done. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. All right. We will not be defeated by this technology tonight. Skype wouldn't let us be great, and I'm telling you that this one is trying, but we are on here. We are on here. So what we want to do is take a few minutes, because I inboxed you all some of the questions and conversations that some people have asked and shared with me. And I pose it to you all because each one of you bring a man's perspective to what women are asking, and maybe some guys hopefully can find some answers through what we talk about tonight. But I'm telling you, from a single perspective, and everyone we are all in different places and different journeys, but it is a real walk out in the world today when it comes to men and in regards to women relationships. So I just need to know from you all, what does it look like on the world of being single as a man in 2020? What does that look like?
Well, I think I'll go first. I would, first of all, I think there's some misconceptions when it comes to men and singleness. A lot of people look at us and as men and they go, hey, you guys got it easy. The men to women ratio is higher. And so it's so much easier for you, to find a mate than it is for women to find a mate. But it's challenging on both sides. Because quantity does not equate to quality. And so just because there are a lot of single women, that doesn't necessarily mean that the quality of the type of woman that I'd want to marry is the woman that I'm meeting. And so in 2020, it's tough for men and it's tough for women. And so we're struggling just like you guys are. And we're trying to find that person that we can meet, that we won't be unequally yoked with. We want to have somebody that meets us in every aspect of relationships. And so it's not easy, it's a challenge. And sometimes we we're successful and sometimes we fail. And but we keep getting up and we do it again.
Well, that's interesting that you would say that, especially saying, you know, about the quality part, because absolutely women think you all are at the advantage, and I think we might be able to agree when it comes to quantity on choices, even though you say the quality might not be the same. I don't think that, you know, I don't think it's a balance on men-women ratio, you know, if I can say it like that. Would you all agree? You all
I would
have
agree.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Bruce?
When it comes to that, I just think these days the culture is so different, you know, and being a man, a divorced man, obviously, that, you know, I mean, just simply put, I mean, my marriage failed. My entire perspective on relationship at this point is more centered around just working on myself, being a better man, being a better person, making better choices, making better decisions, and just really paying attention to who I give my time, my energy, and attention to. Desires of men, desires of women are completely different. You know, courtship, chivalry, you know, they seem, you know, these days in time to have gone out of the window. You know, everything is so convenient, not even just pertaining to relationships, but I mean, the way we used to communicate. Social media has become probably the most powerful thing in the world. People can see you, watch you, and follow you and not even know you, have never even met you or seen you in person. So that's kind of where I stand, and it may not be a direct answer, you know, to the question, but just as a man and where I am when it pertains to love, relationship, and just trying to figure, you know, life out, who I am, and what God would have for me. I think, you know, I'm at a point right now to where I'm just trying to figure out where God wants me to be, you know, as it pertains to that. But it's definitely, it's a lot of options. And like he said, you know, quality does not equal, you
That's
know,
amazing.
quality. It definitely does not. And as a young man, you know, doing, you know, I love music. I love to sing. Everybody knows that. And I'll be the first one to say there's definitely a lot of quantity in my DM and my Facebook inbox. And he nailed it.
Right. Does the quantity
it.
make it hard? Or I think, let me just kind of, you know, play the woman's role tonight. I think the quantity is what women who are, you know, trying to have a standard, I think the quantity hurts those women, because I talked to a gentleman, just, you know, just a general conversation. I like to talk to men, women. I just like to talk to people and get thoughts and things. But he shared that he, you know, this is a married man. He said he has a single friend, and the friend told him he just doesn't have to work for a woman. He said he goes on a different date every week, and he just waits for which one in the inbox is going to just, you know, be on and popping, and said it's not work to do. And so, you know what I'm saying? I'm used to a man working some, and I'm grateful for the men who still want to work, but you have to want to work. Like, you have to want to be that man, because I understand you don't have to be. So it's tough, you know, and just like you just said, the inbox is, I don't know, you know, Messenger or all these, it's really, it's something serious. And we'll talk about it, because some stuff gets shared in those boxes. You know, I'll take a pass.
Come on, Pastor. You don't know nothing about that, Pastor.
I shouldn't. I shouldn't. That's me. I'm telling there are no standards. No one is off limits. I am telling you the truth. And I think even being a pastor in ministry, some find that more appealing to try to come after that preacher woman and to get her moved. That's a whole, Lord have mercy, help today. That's a whole different thing. So do you all prefer, I know it seems like at the end of the day, you want to be able to settle down with someone that you had to work for. Am I right or wrong about that? Does a man want to still have to work for a woman that he wants in his life?
I would say yes.
Yeah, I say yes too. But look at too now. You look at the times now. The times are different now. So most women are successful, and you know what the men are. You know the women are being more successful than men are now. So now it's not the fact of working; it is the fact that can you come together and be compatible with one another and be in a relationship, be that person's best friend, or be that person's friend in a relationship. So now, you know, it's like, yeah, you still look for the work in it because you have to work at something. I don't care how it comes to you. You still got to work at something. You got to work at trying to build it. Even if you don't work at trying to get her, you still got to work at trying to build a friendship and a compatibility to one another. So me now being in a relationship now, it's still, you know, it's the point of working towards and building and getting to know one another on a level of a level like that of being a friend. So yeah, it's still some work in it, regardless of how you get it. It's still gonna be some work.
Right. Yeah. And I'll say this too, and I've heard men say that about women making more, and it's true. You know, we get that, but I'm going to tell you something. Women are not looking at. Of course, women want a solid man. They want a quality man. Yeah. But it is not in the dollar amount that man is making. A woman wants to feel like a woman with a man, regardless of what she does. And it really does come down to, she's looking for a relationship and someone to value her. So when it comes to relationships, when it comes to meeting women, what's taking it too fast? What do you all say to a woman who met somebody they think is great? What's too fast? Where do you say, ugh, I really thought I was into it, but she just took me too fast? What's too fast? we know sex on this is too fast.
I don't know. You want to answer that question?
I think that question is relative to a couple of things: the intentions of the man, the age of the man, and the reason I bring up age is because I just turned 50. Okay. But listen, yes, I just turned 50. So when I compare the 50-year-old Wesley to the 22-year-old Wesley, which is when I got married the first time, I had more time. When I was young, I felt like 50 was like 100 years away. So it was okay to take more time and kind of, flesh it out. But I found out as you get older, I know for me, I value time more because I see that life really is not that long. Life is really short. And so I value time more. And because I value time, yes, there's a lot of women, when you're a single man that you can get hooked up with. You can have a different date every night. But for me, that's a waste of my time. Just to date somebody, just to be dating somebody. Okay, when it's all over, I spent $50 on dinner and we had a great time. But if this is somebody that I know I'm not moving forward with, I just wasted my time. And so when I was in my 20s, I didn't mind wasting time. Now at 50, time is one of the most precious things I have. And so, too fast is when the man or the woman is taking you faster than what you're comfortable with. And so, there are some men who see marriage in the next 5 to 7 years. There are some women who are saying, no, this is going to be 18 to 24 months or it's not happening,
Yeah, that's
so
true.
when those two people get together, if they don't have some good conversations about what their intentions are and what their timeline is, somebody's going to wind up hurt, disappointed, and angry and feeling like they got played, you know, but they didn't have a good, honest discussion about their time frames. And so I don't think when it comes to time that there is a concrete set right time frame for everybody in every situation.
Right, and that's good. And I have this idea that if it takes, and I know I'm making a little feedback from that, but if a man doesn't know after 5 years that you're the one, probably not the one. I just kind of feel like that. You know,
That's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time. I wouldn't say 5 years. I would say if a man doesn't know if he's dating consistently for 2 years, he knows. Now, here's the thing. He may not tell her, but he knows, right? So if he's been with her consistently for 2 years, he knows that she's the one. And so sometimes what I found out, though, men will know that she's not the one, but the one who is the one hadn't come along yet, right? So he knows if I tell the one that I'm with she's not the one, she's going to leave and I'm going to be by myself. And so the one that he's with becomes a placeholder until the one who he really wants to be with comes along. And then she's upset because she's like, wait a minute, I dated this guy for 4 years. He never proposed to me. We broke up. He met her, and within 6 months, he had proposed. 8 months, they got a baby and married, you see? And so, you know, but she just wasn't the one, right? But most of the time, I'm not saying in all cases, but most of the time, within 18 to 24 months, we know if she's the one. We just don't always tell her where, you know, if she is or isn't the one.
Well, I'm telling you, in 18 to 24 months, tell that lady. Say something to her. Because she would jump ship, you know, because women feel like if I'm not the one, then I need to go and open myself up to the one. That's important. So, Michael, what is, you go on a date with a woman, what did she do? What could a woman do that's too fast that you were interested and now you're no longer interested?
What can she do? It depends on the conversation, how the conversation going, and what that person is talking about. Because, you know, sometimes the conversation was like, oh, no, I ain't going to be with this person. You know, now I can't see myself being with this person because when they talk or something like that. But moving too fast, that would throw off, you know, because sometimes, you know, people trying to move like sexual too fast. Yeah. Or they talk about it too fast. So sometimes that'll throw things off too. So you got to be careful with that. But you know, that man got to know his quantity, his qualities, what he looking for. Now, some men be like, hey, look, because they moving fast, they may take it. Because then if they take it, that means you may not be the one. Because most men, if he looking for the right one, he gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna hold up because this is a good one. I'm not gonna take it right now because it's not time. But if he just get with that person and that woman come in, because some men be like, oh, she offered, so I'm gonna take it. So then, hey, then he take it, then it don't work. Then now you mad or you hurt because the man didn't take it. I mean, he took it from you, and you feel like, hey, what happened? Well, the thing is, you moved too fast then. So now, but if that man really want that woman, he gonna be like, hold up, there's not time. So it's gonna be on that man too. What's moving too fast for him and what's moving too fast, you know, how to slow it down.
Okay, so Bruce, so is, you know, I've heard women say oral sex is not sex. Gentlemen, I've heard, you know, people question what is sex, but is a first date and a woman performs oral sex on a man, is that too fast? Is that too fast, gentlemen?
I think, oh wow, you just hit me in the chin with that one. It's too fast. It's too fast. I mean,
you didn't look at the questions.
Hey, hold on a minute. Oh, she got
Hey, Hey, I started to sweat after that question. Now I started getting nervous. I was like, I don't know if you should answer that one.
Yeah, because you know, it's other brothers watching this, and they're like, "Come on, Will, now, come on now."
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but what I will say, it's too fast. I mean, especially, I think you would have to, you know, several factors will come into play. I mean, how long? This is your first date, but how long have you known this person? If you're gonna, you know, look at it from a spiritual side, you know, it's definitely too early. I mean, but a lot of women, and I'm giving away secrets right here. As a woman,
tell the women what you want your daughter to know.
Oh man. As a woman, what you know, a man's patience is a good indicator of his true interest in you.
Right.
You know, if you want to wait, if you want to take your time, and he'll wait, he'll be patient with you. He'll want to move, you know, at a pace that's comfortable for you. He's showing you that, you know, your desires and what you want, what's important to you is important to me. You're worth waiting. That's a good indication that he really cares. You know, if you want to take it slow and he loses interest, or he's not answering his phone as much, or not, you know, texting back as fast, you know, that may be a, you know, indication that, you know, maybe you're not moving fast enough for him. That's not saying that you should speed up. You know, you should definitely, you know, take things at a pace that you want to. But, and I know I'm probably gonna get some text messages after that one. But, you know, I think, you know, like, you know, going back to the culture of today's time, everything is so convenient, and everybody wants what they want when they want it. So the process of learning you, and you know, the basic questions, you know, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite color? What do you like to do? Where do you see yourself? You know, a man that's asking those kind of questions is interested in who you are, you know, interested in learning you, you know, so that he can, you know, basically show you that he's listening to you. You know, and if a man, you know, doesn't do that, you know, if he's not listening to you, you know, if it's, you know, the conversation is based around, you know, those, you know, particular things, he's probably not interested in it. And I'm gonna call all my daughters as soon as we get off this call. And
so if the conversation is always based around sex, if he is, you know, if she offers oral sex too soon, all of that is not building toward a relationship. It's really coming down to lust or physical kind of work, and it takes away from perhaps what could be a budding or healthy relationship, right? Am I right about that?
Right.
Yes. And let me add this also. Many times, as if you find a man who is marriage minded, you know, there are men, you only have two categories of men. There are those who are marriage minded, and there are those who are not marriage minded, right? So if you meet a man who is marriage minded, and he hooks up with this girl, and the first night she performs oral sex on him, he won't tell her, but immediately he puts her in the jump off category.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't put her in the potential wife category. Now, you know, he may have enjoyed it. It was great. And they may even do it again, but he's not thinking potential wife at that moment. So even if they went on the date with him thinking that, by the end of the date, he's not thinking that anymore. And so sometimes I feel like, you know, women, their intentions are good, but they wind up actually cutting their own legs out from under them, and they don't even know what happened. They don't know that they did it, you know. And so, you know, the woman has to, you know, ask herself, you know, how do I want him to see me? You know, what do I want him to do? I want him to see me as a wife, right? And so the first thing that this guy's gonna think about, if she does that to him on the first night, and she's been on several dates with other people earlier than in the year, in his mind, how many other men is she doing this to on the first night? Like, am I that great? I'm not that great, you know? So he may be the first one, but in his mind, he's thinking, wow, so this is how she get down with everybody. Oh, wow, that's not wifey material there.
Right. That's really good. So okay, here's another one. What are some things women can do or look for so that they do not get caught up with the guy who means them no good? So what can women look for? What can they do to not get caught up with that guy who just doesn't mean them good? You know, what is it that tells her, no, this guy is not it? And I thank God, you know, I can call somebody and ask a question and say, you know, do you know this guy or this or that? So that's helpful, because I didn't do that one time and it turned to be a nightmare of a situation. And so I was told from here on out, you call and you ask. And that's a good start, isn't it, Bruce? Praise the Lord.
That's a great start.
That's a great start.
Yeah.
That's great.
You don't have that. What do women look for? What tools can they use to not get stuck with that guy who means them no good? Or they messed up. Maybe that was really good, Reverend Preston. Perhaps they messed up and they pushed the envelope a little too far with the guy, and the guy now is wondering. And even though she's great wife material, he's thinking maybe not, so he's treating her a little less than. So how does a woman get free and get herself in position for that man who really means her a future good?
I think Bruce brought up something a little earlier that's really important. And Bruce talked about how when a man is really serious about a relationship with a woman, his conversations are not just about sex and getting in her panties. He's interested in her as a person. You know, what are your goals? What are your dreams? What do you like to do? You know, what do you don't like to do? Well, you know, what are your pet peeves? What makes you happy? He's interested in learning about her and who she is as a person. Whereas a guy who's just looking for his next, you know, hit, you know, he may start off interested in her or pretending to be interested in her, but very soon or early on, the conversation transitions into sex. And so after it transitions into sex, one of the things I think women can do to help themselves is keep your panties on. I mean, keep your panties up, because when you put sex in the mix, and so many people do so early, sex clouds your judgment. Men and women are different. You know, women, when she gives her body to someone, there's an emotional connection that she makes with that person. Men, however, have this ability to compartmentalize, meaning that a man can be sexual with a woman and have no emotional connection with her, right? You know, and so in the end, it can just be about sex for him. But now, you know, her feelings are involved because she's given her body and she's made this emotional connection. And sometimes when she makes this emotional connection, even though psychologically she may realize later on, this guy is not the guy for me, her emotions now have hooked her into this guy. And so she'll ride that, you know, that broken down donkey, you know, for 6, 12, 18, 24 months, knowing that that's not what God would have for her. But because she got physical so soon and got her emotions involved too soon, now there's this battle going on within her where, you know, on one side, you know, her mind is saying he's not the one, but then her emotions are saying, but I can't break her loose.
Right. And I'll say this, you know, women have healthy sex drives, just like men do. So, you know, grown woman and a grown man, that's understandable that a woman has her desires, or as women say, I got my needs too, just like men say that. However, a woman cannot lay down with a man for the most part. You know, you have exceptions to every rule, but for the most part, a woman cannot lay down with a man and not let him get up without a piece of her heart. She leaves a piece of herself there with that man every time. I don't care. And a woman who, what we consider loose, is looking for a connection. And so she'll jump from bed to bed to bed, not because she's fulfilled, but because, Lord, she's empty. And so women have to be mindful of that, you know, in dealing with men. You have your feelings and your needs too. Look, I have been celibate for over 20 years, a whole human being. And that's not even natural. And I understand it. So I try to tell people it's not, I don't get it. But what I get is that any kind of connection with a man, you can be emotionally connected without physically connected. And that can impact you just as greatly. So it's important that you be mindful of those connections. You gentlemen want to add anything to that?
My mom used to she used to mentor young girls here in Chicago all the time. And I sat in a rap session that she did one time, and she said to a young lady, she was like, who do you live with? The girl said, I live with my mom. She was like, oh, okay. And tell me, what do you have in your room? You got a TV, you got, she's like, yeah, I got a TV. And my mom said, and your boyfriend, would you give him your TV? No, I wouldn't give him my TV. She said, well, why would you give him your body? You can go and you can buy another TV, but when you give, somebody the most precious, most valuable thing that you have, like it would seem like the thought process would be, I would give him my TV before I would give him my most valuable, asset. And that made a lot of sense to me, So like he said, and it goes back to what I was talking about, with patience. If you choose to hold out, if he's truly interested, he'll have the patience to walk through that, with you. But if he's not, he may not. He may stop calling. He may stop coming around. Don't chase him. And you just, and that I think a lot of times women will do that. Oh, you're losing interest. I need to do this. I need to do that. But you start playing a game that you're not even aware of at that point in time. And that can always, it's only going to lead to heartache,
That is so good. And that brings me to the point of asking, a woman should call it quits. Okay, you want to add to it and jump in. So a woman should call it quits, and I want you to add to that when a man keeps doing what, or he stops doing what. So Michael, what do you have to add to it?
Oh, like he was saying about when to what women what I was about to say, women, when he was saying that about value themselves, because about when something happen like that, some you get emotionally tied to a person like that. I wanted to say sometimes women get caught up in what their man have, and that be part of the emotions, or they see what their man is going. But even though they may not be the one, they'll still try to stick it out. And that's how most of them get emotionally tied, because they looking at that more than they looking at the real relationship of it, because that could be gone in the blink of an eye, but you have your foundation with that person, is it grounded? And that's what they have to look at. Is the foundation grounded? But if it's not grounded, then, you have to cut your ties and move on. Yes, sometimes it's hard, but you have to, let them know. Sometimes that's when I say, that's when when a man is chasing you, he working at you, because he gonna continue to call and continue to come after you, even when you're not paying him no attention. Mm-hmm. And so to add to your question, when does he call it a quit? When I feel like when to call it quit, when it's not meeting your qualities or what you want out of man. Mm-hmm. And if it's not meeting what you want and what you desire out of that man, then hey, it's time to call it a quit. It's time to go on and move on, because you don't want to force a person to be the way you want them to be. You want them to be the way they are, and be good at who they are and be great at who they are, and not try to make them to what you want them to be. So, if that person's not meeting your qualities of the way they are and what you look for out of a man, then hey, it's time to call it a quit. And sometimes, you can look at, they may have some of them and they may not have all. They may have, none of them, or they may, but it's what you going to work with and what that person continues is want to work for, to be with you. Sometimes, even though the man might not meet that woman's qualities, what she want, he can work if that's what he want out of her. If he want her, he'll work at it. So that's what I say about building, because sometimes you got to work at what you want to. That's another way of working at it.
So if he stops working, it's time for her to start walking.
I don't. Yeah. I'm not gonna say that, because he may. What if he hit a rough spot? And what if she may be that one to get him back up on his feet? Then what?
Okay.
So then it's just like if that woman, what if she quit her? What if she lose her job? What if he there to help support her? So if you can't say because he quit it, if he quit his job.
Oh, not his job. I meant working toward her. With her. Yeah.
If he quit working towards her, then hey, it's time to move on. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's time to move on. If he quit working towards her, cause you know that's the thing. A man gonna work at what he wants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Gentlemen, you want to add to that?
I would say that when a man stops valuing a lady's opinion, when she pours her heart out and she lets him know what it is she wants in life, what it is she needs, when he stops listening to that, or when he devalues that, or when he is dismissive towards what she's saying that she needs, or if he's just simply ignoring her needs, at that point it's time to move on, because what he's really saying is I don't care what your needs are, right? And so when a man looks at a woman and doesn't care what her needs are, at least doesn't care enough to at least put the effort. No man is perfect, but if he's at least willing to listen to you and put forth the effort to work on whatever needs to be worked on, he's a keeper. If it's his way or no way, if it's okay, I hear what you're saying, but I don't care, then that's not, you might as well cut that off, because that's not going to develop into a marriage. If it does develop into a marriage, it's not a marriage that's going to last, because that mentality is rooted in selfishness, and selfishness will always destroy a marriage, always.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Good point. Anyone want to add to that? That's so good, which brings us right into the next question. So a woman should never tolerate what from a man? What should a woman never tolerate from a man? We know about physical abuse and verbal abuse, so we know no abuse. But besides that, what should a woman not tolerate? And I do believe in having conversations. So if a man is not meeting a need, physically, mentally, emotionally, it's okay for a woman to say to him, I need you to step up and do this, or this is what matters to me. You have to have those conversations, because he can't read your mind. Men cannot read your mind. You have to talk to him. I believe you have to have that. But what should a woman never tolerate from a man? What should they not tolerate?
Tolerate.
I'd say a man who's lazy and refuses to work.
Yeah.
If she's getting up and she's going to work every day, and he's at home every day, that's problematic. There's a guy that used to rent a house from me, and his wife went to work every day, and he would be at home every day playing on the video games, and that's the way their marriage worked for years, but men, we are designed by God to be leaders, to be hunters, to want to provide. And so when a man is passive and he's okay with simply, having her carry shoulder the burden of the family financially, that she shouldn't tolerate.
Wow, that's good. Anybody want to add to that?
Yeah, I completely agree.
That's the way a man talks to a woman. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you shouldn't. She definitely shouldn't put up with any disrespect. In my line of work, I see it all the time, especially right now with this pandemic going on. We're seeing a lot of domestic violence cases because, number one, people are spending a lot more time with each other than they ever have. Number two, a lot of people are realizing that they don't even know the person that they're married to. Having that much time, being in the house together, where usually you would be at work, but today everybody's at home the whole day, from the time you wake up to the time you lay down for months to come. And every time you think it's about to be a relief, the governor gets on TV and says, okay, we're going to do this for another month. So it's people are realizing what they don't like about each other, and it's just becoming like really crazy out there. And when it comes to it speaks to a man's character, the way that he will talk to his woman. Even if I'm mad, even if I'm upset, and I will go on record to say that any female that I have ever been dealing with in any type of relationship, not one of them can come and say that I ever called them anything besides their name. My whole life, I have never disrespected a woman like that. I have never called her anything but what her parents named her. And that's no matter how mad I got. I've been slapped a few times. I think that's real important, and that's something that was put in me a long time ago from my grandpa, from my mom, my dad. Just the way that you talk to people, the person that you are. She definitely shouldn't tolerate that. Her mom gave her a name. Her mom didn't name her after a female dog. Her mom didn't. That's a no-no. That shows his respect level for you, and that's an easy thing to see. And I think just to add to some of the other stuff, you just gotta pay attention to everything. Certain things just shouldn't happen. Don't take them. Don't think it's by chance. It's a difference between a mistake and a bad decision, or a mistake and a bad choice. It's a difference between that. It's a difference between messing up and I did something wrong. It's not the same thing. And that's pay attention to that, and don't shouldn't put up with it. Yeah.
All right. So if you gentlemen could, on another note, and I hope I can get you all back again so we can start off right and really take a little extra time. But if there was something that you could tell women to please stop doing, what is it? If it's something that is not good for women to do, or something you could just tell all women, just please don't do this, or please stop doing this, what would that be?
I would tell women, you want to go ahead, Bruce?
No, you go ahead, brother.
Okay. I would tell women, stop assuming that in order to be beautiful and sexy, you have to show your body in public to men.
That's good.
That you can be beautiful, you can be sexy, you can be gorgeous, and you can be classy all at the same time. And some of the most sexiest women I've ever seen were women who had on a sundress that went down to their knees, or some of them down to their ankles, right? And so there's this idea that you have to show everything or you're not beautiful. Or that showing too much of your body equates to being beautiful. And I say you can be beautiful without doing that. And you can be gorgeous without doing that. Now, when you go to the mall, it's true. If you got on booty shorts at the mall, you're going to get a lot more attention than if you have on a sundress. But what women have to understand is the guys that give you all of the attention when you got on the booty shorts, those aren't the guys that's looking to marry you. They're not. The guy that's looking to marry you, I'm saying he's not impressed with that, right? So that's what I would say.
Okay. Michael?
I would say stop assuming that all men are the same. That's the main thing, because most times women get so mixed up with just because every man cheat, they hear every man cheat, every man is not faithful, every man is not a lawyer. They think every man is the same. And that's the worst thing to ever feel, that you are not trusted. And that they keep assuming that you are this way and you're not. Because I have had problems myself. Women think I have a lot of women, and I don't. So it's like, you got to have a lot of women. Why are you single?
You got that look, bro.
No, bro.
blame God, man.
Thank God, but hey, but it just that be the number one thing, and it sometimes it's irritating. Sometimes it's irritating to hear that all the time, that you think every man is thinking that way. You know, most men they looking for that one woman. I promise you they are. I promise you are. Even they may be playing the field. Young, I have, like I said, even on my job, I have talked to a young guy. He was like, man, he's 18. He was like, man, I think I found the one. I want to get married now. That's at 18. So every man ain't looking just for that. Yeah, you won't have your fun as a young man. You want everybody gonna have their fun, but it's gonna be that one woman that you looking for. So every man don't think that way. Most men thinking already is to be settled, but they're afraid to say because of their vulnerability, and they may be taken advantage of. So the thing is, stop assuming that every man is a player. Every man is a player. So I think that's one of them. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I have one more question. Bruce, you want to add anything to that note?
I would just say don't make your assumptions reality.
Yeah.
You know, just because you think something or just because you feel something, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what it is. And you said it earlier, like, if God tells you to ask and you shall receive, that's God. He knows everything. He knows what you need. You know, what makes you think that this dude over here knows exactly what it is that's on your mind? You know, and that's the biggest thing for me. You know, just, you know, that and again, you know, just to add this, I don't want to be on this panel pretending like I'm just this perfect dude that has all the answers for everything. I've definitely been on the, you know, the end of I've hurt women. I've done that. I've been the cause of heartbreak. I've messed up time and time again. You know, and I think, you know, what I would like to add is, you know, just don't break a man down. You know what I mean? Like, when you're mad, you should take a minute, go sit down, think about it before you have that conversation, because even though I may forgive you for what you say to me, I can't forget it. And you can attack a man's character in a way to where his perception of your thoughts of him, you know, I'm not a man to her. She's never gonna see who I am. She is never gonna hear me. She is never going to truly see who I am, you know, as a person. A man knows what he has in his heart for a woman. You know what I mean? And her perception, her words, the way she views him and expresses that, you know, to him can taint his will to want to keep doing, to want to keep working, to want to keep. I'm not saying put up with bull crap. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, you know, think about what you say. Think about what you say before you say it. And, you know, and just know, once you put those words out there, sometimes an apology is, you know, you can push things past the point of an apology. You know, and that's what I would say.
You all have to do is get some great information. So I was supposed to do this at the start. I apologize, I guess, with everything that we had going on. But I do have one other question for you before we go. But I appreciate, you know, I'm growing and learning. And I'll tell everyone, you know, I've been ministry church all my life, and I'm the best at what I do. I'm great at it. I just never had the time to work on the female relationship part, because I have just been head down, plowing, you know, my road for God and all. And so I'm listening to you all, and I understand so much for myself, the kind of growth that I need, you know, in communicating, being softer as a woman, because I'm in leadership. So I had to learn how to not lead personally in a relationship, and to become the female, the woman. And I was raised around strong men, so I, you know, have a healthy perspective of men. But to actually put that in practice, it took some working. You know, it took some working, and I'm still working on Tasha. And I know, you know, God's just gonna have to speak to somebody about the preacher. Okay? It just is what it is. But I have, and I'm telling you, especially what you all just said. So I talk for a living, preaching, words. I've always been in love with words, vocabulary, and those kinds of things. And as much as I can say words that build and edify, you know, I've been in a situation with on a personal level where my words can be just as cutting and will, you know, just cut the knees off of a man, and that's not good. That's not right. I got it, Bruce. I got it. You know, and to think about what you just said, how you just said that, it just really kind of lit my mind up about it. So, you know, those are some things. Everyone has some work to do, and I think it's about finding that person that you want to work with, that you really see and hear their heart and be able to work with. But let me do this. I have one more question, but I want you all to tell everyone, this was what I should have done first. Tell everyone your name and tell them what you do, please. Would you do that? And I have another question for you. And someone online asked a question too. But I'll start with you, Michael.
You want to know our name? Oh, my name is Michael Lewis, and because it went out, so I didn't hear the whole question. You just said you want to know our name and what we do, right? That's what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, my name is Michael Lewis.
Anything you would like anybody to know?
Huh?
Anything you would like anybody to know?
My name is Michael Lewis, and I'm a truck driver, and I am a minister at church, and I'm I'm currently in a relationship, so I'm working at it, and I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. The whole deal of it. I love it. I love her, and I like it. So I'm just a person. That's me. That's who I am now. So, and that's me.
Beautiful. Gentlemen?
You want me to go next, or you gonna go next?
Yeah.
My name is Bruce Gatlin. Some people call me Will Gatlin. I'm a full-time police officer in Summit, Illinois. It's a little suburb right outside Chicago. I produce, write, and record my own original music. And I'm a loving father. I love my children. And that's all I got to say about that.
Okay. All right.
I'm Wesley Preston, and I live in Atlanta. I'm originally from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, but I've been living in Atlanta for a while. I'm an associate minister at New Life Church, and I lead the counseling ministry at that church. And I have two daughters, 19 and 24, that I love dearly. And so that's who I am.
Excellent. All right. So here's a question from online. This is from Chastity Lewis McMillan. She says, how would you deal with a woman who has been physically, mentally, or emotionally abused? She has a great heart, but she needs patience. So what is something you could say to her, and what is something you could say to the men that deal with a beautiful woman who's been through a bad situation?
I would say that that's a very serious circumstances to deal with. A lot of people, when you think of PTSD, think about military or people who have been through traumatic things like wars and things like that. But it's a very real thing that any normal person and any me as a police officer, something that may not mean anything to me may be the most traumatic moment of somebody else's life that doesn't do and see what I see every day. So realizing that that's a very serious issue, and I'll put this out there, us as Black people, African American people, sometimes we find shame in going to talk to somebody. God made counselors too, and you got a lot of counselors out there that love God and they love His people, and they definitely want to point people in the right direction. So I think it's something that has helped me out tremendously. If you need to go sit down and you need to talk to somebody about what you went through, see, there's several stages like when you go through stuff like that. Subconsciously, you deal with things, and even though you may feel okay, subconsciously, you may be in the worst state you could ever be in. So being able to go sit down and talk to somebody, get those things out, identify, and speak, so you can say it to yourself, hear yourself saying, this is what bothers me, this is what I'm scared of, this is what I'm fearful of. I think that's really important for her, to definitely go, sit down and talk to somebody and resolve those issues within herself. Look at, maybe some of the choices and decisions that she made, when she stayed, when, the time she thought about leaving, and never forgetting what that fear was and what that felt like. And, and just patience, time, the process of that. It's not an overnight easy fix type of thing. And you definitely got to find a man that has that patience, that will be patient, with her, understand her reservations and her fears, of moving forward. That's a lot to say, but I could say a lot more about it, because that is definitely something I see all the time. But that's where I would start.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Preston, anything to add to that?
Yeah. I would just say that, she understands that she's gone through some hurt, some pain, some tough times. But there's this saying I hear all the time that hurt people hurt people. And what happens is, if you don't get into a healing process, because healing is not an event, healing is a process. And so I would say to her, make certain that you're in a healing process where you're moving towards becoming whole. And sometimes, for some people, that's a 2-year process. Some people are healing the rest of their lives, depending on the depth of the trauma that they've gone through. But as a counselor, I see a lot of marriages that end because one or both people enter that marriage broken and hurt. And so it's almost like, if you have a puppy that's abused, sometimes, shelters say they know when a puppy has been abused, because that puppy will react sometimes to a loving hand, viciously. And so you're reaching out to pet him, but his context of a hand is hurt, right? And so not to compare people to animals, but what I'm saying is that sometimes as people and individuals, we will mistake a healing hand for a hurting hand. And the person who's trying to help heal us, it becomes frustrating for them because their intentions is not to hurt you, And so if you're not careful, you'll start to see this person, the new guy, you start to see the old guy in the new guy, right? And so you have to get on that healing wheel, and also make certain that you are transparent with whoever it is you're in a relationship with. Don't be ashamed of your pain. Let them know, this is what I'm going through. This is what I've been through, and I'm gonna need you to be patient with me. And most people, when they see you putting in the work to get back on track, most people will be patient for you. What becomes frustrating is when they don't see you putting in the work, when they come to the table and it's almost like they're expecting their mate to heal them, and a person can't heal you, only God can do that with your cooperation. And so that's what I would say to her.
That's great. That's great. Thank you for that. And here's another question before we get down to that last one. Someone asked, should you initially go into a relationship stating your goals? Example, I'm not looking to date for an extended period of time, but I'm looking for a wife, or I'm looking for a husband. So should that be an initial conversation going into starting a relationship?
I think it can be. I think it can be helpful, and I think you should go in with a goal, a goal set of what you're looking for, because most time that'll tell whether that person really want what the other person really want, and what are they looking for. So most time women when they go in with a standard of what they're looking for, it'll kind of deter out what is for you and what is not for you too. Mm-hmm. So it's good and sometimes it's bad. But I think on the real good part of it, you should set goals, because that way that you know that woman is not looking for to play games with you. She's not looking for to play around with you. She's not looking for, like we said, move too fast. She want to move fast, but she don't want to move that fast. She want to move to the point, hey, we building at something, we going at something. So, cause like you said, like Wesley said earlier, it depends on your age and what you're looking for. If you're in your 40s, your 40s and over, you know what you're pretty much looking for. You're looking for to settle down. You're not looking for to keep dating or to keep playing around. You're looking for someone to settle down with. So she should go over goals, and that man should have goals too. Because if you don't have it, then what we doing? We just dating. We just together. So we not really working towards nothing. So I think you should have goals.
Okay. All right. Dating apps, yes or no?
No.
No.
Okay. I've been on Plenty of Fish. I've been on Christian. I've been on Christian Mingle. Mm-hmm. I've been on Black People Meet. And out of all those dating apps, I never met anybody. And I'm still single, so I'm not married. But so I never met anybody that I will get married to on any of those apps. So I was on there, but I can't say it was successful because I didn't meet anybody, right? You know, I met someone on Facebook. You know, Facebook was actually better than the dating app. Yeah, right. And, you know, it's like, so I think the apps are ineffective because men and women come there and they have so many options. They have these high hopes. You got this list of 50 things where you can choose. I want my man to be 6'2", to make 6 figures. I mean, you can put all of these factors in there, right? And that's what women do. Men do too. And so when they meet somebody that meets all of these, you know, these hurdles, and then they look at the picture and go, wow, he's great. Their expectations are so high that anybody else who comes behind him, first of all, that guy ain't real. And if he is real, then, you know, he may have some other issues, right? So once she finds out what the issues are, right, she doesn't want him. But then she looks at me. She doesn't want me either, because when she plugged in her algorithm, it was 6'4", 220, you know, 6 figures. I mean, all this stuff. And so now that's where her mind is. And so she meets somebody like me, and she's like, nah, you know, and so everything else under that is a no-go. You know, it's like real estate agents tell me that when they're showing people homes, they don't show people the biggest, fanciest, most expensive house right off the bat. Because if that house don't work out, then everything else under that, the person don't want. And so the dating apps, I've been on them, but I don't think they were effective. With Christian Mingle, I was just giving them money every month, $29. You know, so I could have kept my money, and that's the Christian site. You know,
right.
No success. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying I haven't been successful on it.
Okay, that's 2 out of 3 no's. Bruce, what you say?
It could be good and bad. I mean, I got a quick story. Don't laugh at me. People can put on there whatever they want to put on there. Okay, and
right.
You know, and if it's 2020, you know, maybe not. You know, don't put your 2012 pictures on the dating site. You know. So I'm not gonna say it was me. I'm gonna just say my friend. Okay, he went on the site, and they were gonna meet. So they go to meet, and he sees her standing by the door of the restaurant that they were gonna meet at. Okay, well, he recognized her face, but everything else did not look like what he saw on the dating app. So he called her, and she picked up her phone. And he said, "Hey, where you at?" You know, she's like, "Oh, I'm in the front, blah blah." And let's just say, anybody see the Nutty Professor?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sherman Clump. Yeah, Sherman
Yeah.
Clump. Yeah.
Sure.
Sherman was standing in front of the restaurant, but Holly Berry was on the app. So I'm not gonna say that he, you know, just kept going and didn't even stop, you know, because that would just be rude. But I mean, he probably just left and kept going.
Right.
And didn't even stop. That's probably what he did. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, it could be good, it could be bad, you know.
Okay.
I actually know a old police officer friend of mine that met his wife on Christian Mingle. They're still married. They just had another kid not too long ago. Been married since I was at Macomb PD. So I mean, I guess it can, and you know, it just depends on the people.
Yeah.
Well,
it
you taking a risk.
Yeah.
Taking a risk.
What about you, Pastor? Have you been on one?
Quarantine got me. I did it.
No, they had dating apps before the quarantine, Pastor.
I'm just no good with it. I am not. I would burn out. I burn out like on day 3. I'm burnt out.
Which one did you do?
Bumble and black people. I need to go and get my pictures back. I want my pictures off. It is so not for me. So I've been, you know, Bruce he's known me forever, and he knows I'm straight up church, and I've just been holding this all my born days, and so some of this stuff is brand new for me. I hate a woman in the single world of today. This is the worst. I cannot wait until I meet my husband. I'm telling you, but it is the dating apps. Oh, it's too much. It's just too much.
I tried Tinder.
If I ever saw Bruce on it, I would just pass out.
I'm not gonna lie. I tried Tinder, but I couldn't work out my profile picture. It was just weird. I couldn't do it. You know, I was trying to get that right picture for my profile. It wouldn't work out for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was warned not to go on Tinder because they said Tinder is just for the people who want to just hook up. So they told me don't do that one. And so
you would be in trouble. I can't even imagine doing because I do research on everything. So I looked at all of them. Bumble was pretty neat because the man don't just get to jump you like on the one that you said earlier. So the woman can just kind of say a yes or a no to whether she's going to say hello or not. But then I started feeling sad for the men I wasn't interested in, and I was just like, well, let me just tell them, because I didn't want to feel rejection. So I was just like, let me just tell them. So it got to be work for me. It was just too much. It was just too much. It's just not my thing. So you all have pulled that out of me. I would never have told that.
That is funny. And then you blame it on quarantine.
Yeah.
I did.
Quarantine got me.
It was always in there.
Oh, man.
Picture like, yes. Okay, so best quality a woman can have. Top quality, 1 or 2 that men say yes to.
Supportive. That's what I say.
Support. Make sure they are together. Make sure they know who they are. That's what I say. Know who they are. Know who they are. That's it. Cause sometimes women don't know who they are. That's why you have so many women dress up and change makeup, wigs, and all that. They don't recognize who they are. Just be yourself.
We have to talk about that next time. Okay.
Hey, bro, listen. Listen, hey, I'm different. I like wigs. I like it. If my wife comes home one night and she's Michelle Obama, and the next night she Keisha, and the next night, she Holly Berry from Babs, I'm cool with that. Hey.
Hey, listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm not cool with it. I just said know who they are.
Okay. So know when she take the wig off, she really ain't Holly Berry. She's
just
my
know
wife.
who she are mentally. Just know herself. That's it. That's all I ask.
That's good. Okay.
Can I ask that they stop doing one thing?
Please.
Man, quit putting them lashes on that's this long. Them lashes be take them lashes off, man.
Right. Okay. So that's a couple. Will you all come back and do another? We'll have the streaming together. We'll get all that. Can I get you all back to do another talk?
Absolutely.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun.
So here's that last question. Nudies, social media, messenger, texting. You're not married. You're single. At what point, or is there any point that a woman should send a nudie to a man, and should men be sending ick pics to women?
Only if you're on quarantine. No, I'm playing. I'm joking.
We have fallen apart.
I hate to give you the police answer, but technically it's illegal to do it. Even if it's your husband, it's illegal to send it through cyber media.
Really?
Completely against the law.
Really? Is it considered porn?
I'm not sure if it's considered porn. I just know like any sexually explicit photograph should not be sent through cyber communication. Technically, that law gets broken 1,000,000 times an hour, but it's technically against the law.
I didn't know it was against the law, officer. I didn't know. Yeah. But ignorance of the law is no excuse, right?
Yeah.
And I guess too, I'm saying, I guess from a man's perspective, receiving it, because I know you all are visual creatures, and as a woman, I can say for some reason, some men tend to think just like they like getting it, a woman wants to receive it. And I have gotten unsolicited texts and inboxes of these pictures, and it is, like zero interest. It's bananas. It's bananas. No. And so I'm thinking, I love Jesus. I don't even know what's going on in the world anymore. So, what you all say? It's against the law, says the officer. What you gentlemen say?
I would say that for men need to understand that women don't get excited about the things we get excited about, right? So, when marketers want to tap into a woman's sexuality, they give her a romance novel. Have y'all seen romance novels? Those romance novels, have you noticed that they never have any pictures in them, right? But when they want to market something to men, it's the opposite, right? There's no words in the magazine, but it's full of pictures, right? And so that's not an accident, that's the way, women are moved. They had this book a few years ago. God, what was that book, Pastor, that all the women was reading? This sexual innuendo. It became a movie. I can't remember the name of it. But
I know what you're talking
50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey. Right. And yes. So what had no pictures in it. And so a lot of times that men think that what excites them excites women, and they wind up turning women off more than anything. But here's the crazy thing about it is, when you put something in cyberspace, you don't know where that stuff is going to end up at, and now you got, screenshots and all of this stuff. And, even if you're married, that's a tough one because the officer just told you, it's against the law. But more than that, I sent a text a couple of weeks ago I was trying to send a text to my significant other, and I accidentally sent it to my mom. And I said something, I love you, sweetheart, or something. I can't remember what I said. And my mom responded, oh, thank you, baby. And so I was wrestling with whether to tell my mom that it wasn't meant for her. And I had to tell her, Mom, that was actually meant for somebody else. And so she, but my point is, I accidentally did that. No, it was something innocent, right?
Ooh,
But right. You see what I'm saying?
What if it wasn't?
Right. Right.
Yeah, I can mess up a text too, so you're right. It's just
yeah.
right.
There's a friend of mine. Her mom is in her 70s. I'm sorry, late 60s, and her mom was dating. Her mom met a guy on POF, and the reason she broke up with the guy who was 67 is because he was sending the pics unsolicited, and he's like 67.
Wow.
Yeah.
You only become more what you are as you get older. You can't hold it back.
No.
You can't hold it back.
Okay, we don't want them. I mean, like, I don't want your it pic, okay? At all. It's like I almost want to just start sharing and telling who sent those.
Uh-oh.
Stop it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's poetic, please.
What you gonna put them on blast? You gonna put them on blast, huh?
Yeah, I think about it sometimes. I really do. But then an old pastor part of me just kicks in like, God, I want them helped and restored. Some people you can't help, though. I don't know. All right, so are there any, Bruce, Pastor Russell said, she wants you to sing her something before we get off. And she asked for it. So we're going to get ready to sign off in a minute. And again, we appreciate everybody coming on. The quality of this is definitely not what it should be. And I apologize to those who are viewing, but next time we're going to have it on track and we will be better. Well, I will make sure that we get this right. I appreciate the guests who have been on tonight. These men worked with me behind the scenes so that we could at least get the broadcast going. So are there any final notes that you gentlemen would give before we get offline that you all want to say to the ladies? And you have told me that you would come back and you would do another man-woman relationship talk with us, and that's going to be fantastic. So final thoughts?
All I would like to say is I've enjoyed it, and I appreciate Bruce and Michael, as well as you, Tasha, for the opportunity to be in this discussion. So it's been fun. I've had some fun with you guys.
I'd say the same. It was my, I enjoyed it. Brother Preston speaks and wisdom just comes out of his mouth. If we ever have to speak in the same building, let me go first. I definitely, like honestly, I learned a lot from both of you guys tonight. You two, well, I call you Mama. I appreciate you having me, and yeah, we got to do it again, definitely.
Yes, soon.
I'd just like to say I enjoyed it too. I enjoyed meeting both of y'all, man, and it's been a pleasure. I thank Tasha again for inviting me. And like I say, I'm very well. I love to come back. But like I said, I have learned so much from both of y'all. And like I said, like Bruce said about Preston, man, his wisdom, man, is wonderful, man. Hey, look, you be afraid to answer after him. Be like, I don't know, I might not say the right thing.
Yeah, what can I say now?
So like I said, it's been fun. It's been fun.
It has been. It has been. And I see Dr. Betty Torbert Pittman, she's on, and she's married now, but she said that the quarantine worked for my good. She said she tried the dating apps and they should send her a refund. God worked it out for you, Pastor. God worked it out for you. All right, so now what we're supposed to do is jump off here and have a deeper discussion on 1 or 2 notes with Pastor Christopher. And are you going to be